Shalom. I want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to our teachers, the apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. And more respect to the brothers laboring worldwide in truth and sincerity. Salutations and blessings to the hopeful elect, believing on the words of Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi. It's your brother Dawada coming next year with another lesson. Lord willing is edifying. This lesson is going to be centered around the video you see on the screen. You know, I had this lesson downloaded for a while. Spirit jumped on me today to do a quick lesson regarding it, right? And this you'll see for yourself, you know. But these devils are proud, man, and you're seeing more and more of these videos pop up regarding how they feel about you, Jake. You know, and they'll try and hide it and disguise it as another topic, but it's really dealing with their disdain for the children of Israel, you know. And these devils believe that they're going to get away. You know, there's no consequences for their actions and what they push forth in the planet Earth. Little do they know, the Lord said He's not going to forgive them, man. Right? What is that? Galatians 6:7. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So this devil has shown wickedness in the planet Earth. And he's going to eventually what? Reap those missiles, man. You know? Real quick, before we play the video, let's get the book of Amos, chapter 1. And verse 11. For thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Right? You go into that word perpetually or perpetual, it's of old time, an ancient hatred. This devil has kept that wrath throughout the ages, and we're seeing it being made manifest more and more in these times. Okay? It says, but I will send a fire upon Teman. See that? Which shall devour the palaces of Basra. So any place where these devils pinch their tit, the Lord is going to take them out by fire. Okay? They're not going to get away with the spoils. The Lord had already declared and decreed it, man. You see? Let's play this video.
So slaves were forced into mandatory labor to survive, but they were given roof over their heads, clothing, food, water. I'm forced into mandatory labor to survive, but I'm not guaranteed a roof over my head. I'm not guaranteed clothes. I'm not guaranteed food and water. Heck, I'm not even guaranteed any medical help. Am I worse than a slave? Do we have it worse than slaves did? Help me. So slaves were forced into mandatory labor to survive, but they were given roof over their heads, clothing, food, water. I'm forced into mandatory labor to survive, but I'm not guaranteed a roof over my head. I'm not guaranteed clothes. I'm not guaranteed food and water. Heck, I'm not even guaranteed any medical help. Am I worse than a slave? Do we have it worse than slaves did? Help me. So slaves were forced.
You see? That's a proud ass statement. Did we have it worse than the slaves? You know? Just because you got to work and pay bills and you feel that you have no fucking idea, man. You know? Your children have been taken from you, stolen from you. You don't have to meet a quota. And if you don't meet a quota, your hands get chopped off, your extremities get desecrated, man. You know? But you see these fucking devils, man. You know, just because you having a hard time in life right now, You trying to equate that with slavery? You see? Let's see, the Lord, man, the Lord got something prepared for you, devils. This is Psalms chapter 73 and verse 3. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, right? You in fucking power and you complaining. You complaining because you got to pay a power bill that ain't for free. Or you got to pay a water bill that ain't for free, you know? And talking about you got to buy clothes. You ain't getting no free clothes. What the fuck? Well, you see, that's how these devils feel about you, Jake. You know? They in prosperity, man. You know? It says there are no bands in their death, right? When they die, they leave their substance to their children, you know? And their children after them, which they will be reincarnated. Guess what? Guess they're gonna be still in power, man. So yeah, there are no bans, no restrictions in their death, but their strength is firm, right? When these devils died in the 60s and they was reincarnated back in the 90s, you know, they were still in power. Their strength was firm. You see? They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men, right? I seen a video the other day of a SWAT team of police officers going to execute a warrant. All right, and they went to execute a warrant on an Edomite, and they broke the door down, and he fired on their ass. You know, he up fire on them. You know, now what did they do? Did they just return fire? Nah, they retreated. They retreated and tried to think of another solution to bring them out peaceably. You know, but if that was you, Jake, if that was you, guess what? They would open fire on your ass. You know? Well, that's the example of them not being in trouble as other men. It says, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compares of them about as a chain, violence covers them as a garment. Right, man? This is pride right here. You fix your mouth to equate slavery with the struggles that you're going through right now, man. You know? Your babies wasn't stolen from you. You ain't have your back whipped, you know? You wasn't buck broke, you know? But that's how these devils feel, man. They speak pridefully. See? It says, therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain, violence cover them as a garment. And that was a perfect example of violence cover them as a garment. When they went to try and arrest this Edomite, you know, they broke down the door. He opened fire upon it. He can't reason, you know. His first solution is the sword. So yeah, violence do encompass them as a garment. Hey, you can go back to the slavery time, lynching, you know, stealing a man from the home, you know, and publicly lynching him, and dead anybody in the neighborhood to say anything about it. That's part of their strength being firm. Also, you see, it says their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than the heart could wish. Right, you in power, you ruling the earth, you know. But you have more than what you could wish, and you still want more. You want the children of Israel, man. All right. And how are you going to implement that? By the way of that micro C hit, which is the MOTB. You know, they are corrupt. Yeah, Esau is corrupt, man. The wicked, so called white people, and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. You see that? Yeah, this is speaking wickedly concerning oppression. That's a lofty speech this guy came off with. And you see, he's trying to come as a humble, you know, make it make sense about his plight. Man, fuck your plight, man. You've been ruling the planet Earth for so long. If you haven't made it in this kingdom, in your kingdom, that's your fault, man. We don't give a fuck what you talking about. But you speaking wickedly concerning oppression, though. You know, it says again, they are corrupt. They speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Their mouth is set against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Right? How does their tongue walk through the earth? Through their policies, through their legislation, through their laws, the things that they set up. You know, an example is that is when they implemented that mask mandate, and everybody in the world had to follow that. You know, and if you ain't follow it, guess what? You had people point you out. You was ostracized, you know. Well, yeah, that's these damn devils, man. But again, the point is what? They are corrupt. They speak wickedly concerning oppression. See? Yeah, you think that it's sweet now, you know. But the Lord got your ass in a trick bag, man. Again, you're not gonna get away with those spoils. You know? You really think the Lord is with you, where you can go and make these certain statements and come with these wayward ideas and say that slavery wasn't all bad, because that's essentially what this guy is saying. Slavery wasn't that bad. Fuck out of here, man. What we gonna see in the kingdom if you saying that when you're having to wake up at 3 o'clock every morning out of a pit and bust some goddamn rocks into pebbles, you see? Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Right. You swear in on the Bible. You say you're a God-fearing nation, but you don't uphold any things the Lord said to do, man. You know? Hey, Leviticus 20 and 13 is an example. Oh, also you set up abominations as delicacies. You market it as a higher grade of food, but it's abomination, man. You see? Hey, guess what? During slavery time, Jake, they gave you those abominations, man. They gave you the entrails, you know. They gave you crab, shrimp, and lobster to eat, man. You see? It says, "Seeing thou hatest instruction and cast my word behind thee." Yeah, see, those are a perfect example of these devils hating instruction and casting the words of the Lord behind them. You know. Oh, also, the law on slavery. You got you a Hebrew slave. After 7 years, you supposed to let him go. These devils knew that, man. Okay. It says, "When thou sawest a thief, thou consentest with him, and has been partakers of adulterers." Right. These so-called what do they call them? And words slip me. Lord willing to come back. These explorers or god damn, these conquistadors that so-called discovered the new world. You know, yeah, you could sentence with them, man. So much so you made monuments to their legacy of blood. You see, it says, "Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frame of deceit." Yeah, this is one of those giving his mouth to evil, man. You know? Yeah, you made a whole video comparing the struggles of your life to slavery. Yeah, that's you giving your mouth to evil. See? Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Right. That's what these devils do, man. They accuse us to the heavenly Father by putting pork enzymes in your food and your toothpaste and various products, you know. Oh, marketing these abominations as delicacies, man. And then when Jake eat it, they accuse us to the Father, man. It says, "These things has thou done, and I kept silent. Thou thoughtest I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes." You see, and that's what you're seeing happening now. The Lord is reproving these devils and setting up the elect in order before his eyes, man. So much so, great fear is falling upon them. You see, it says, "Now consider this, ye that forget the Most High, lest he tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver." Right? There's not going to be nobody to deliver you, man. Okay? When the Lord comes back and sets the children of Israel up, guess what? When all hell coming down, ain't nobody gonna deliver you. You see? This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, and we'll start at verse 12. "The beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his maker." You see that? Yeah, these devils believe by happenstance it was a Big Bang theory, and when everything shook out, they were on top. You know, They don't believe that the Most High exists, but that's part of their pride. You see, it says, "For pride is the beginning of sin. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it will pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly." Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. Matter of fact, let's jump up, right? Yeah, jump up to verse 7. It says, "Pride is hateful before the Most High and man." See that? And by both doeth one commit iniquity. See? Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. See that? Yeah. Unrighteous dealings. Those injuries got by deceit. You know? We're going to see the kingdom being translated from Esau to the Israelites, man. It's going to happen real soon. You know? Yeah, you speaking lawfully concerning slavery. Like, it wasn't all bad. At least they had running water. At least they had water. They didn't have to pay for water. They didn't have to pay for power. They didn't have to pay for a roof over their head. Fucking devil, man. See, Lord got something for you, damn Devites, man. Let's go here, man. Ecclesiasticus chapter 16 and verse 11. "And if there be one stiff neck among the people, it is marvel if he escape unpunished." Right, Esau, you stiff neck among the people. You stiff neck as a nation among these nations. Again, you had the scriptures. You know how to conduct yourself. You don't heed the last Sabbath. You don't heed the tenets of the Bible, man. But you hold it in high reverence. But you don't live by it, man. You know. So yeah, this damn devil is stiff necked, and it's going to be a marvel if he escape. For mercy and wrath are with him who Yahawashi. He is mighty to forgive and to pour out displeasure. And again, the way the Lord is going to pour out displeasure is by the way of those thermonuclear missiles, man. You see? It says, "As his mercy is great, so is his correction also. He judges of a man according to his works." See? Yeah, he judges of a man according to his works. Are you saying, am I wrong? Hell yeah, you're wrong. And you can't make it make sense. You know? You can't equate the hell that you catching because of your fucking rulers with slavery, man. You know? It says, "A sinner shall not escape with his spoil," see? "And the patience of the godly shall not be frustrated." Yeah, we're patiently waiting for Yahawashi to execute his judgment, man. You see? Let's get this. Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 11. "Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil." You see? Yeah, this is part of that sentence not being executed speedily. Are you gonna make videos and talk shit? Hey man, it's gonna be more of these that occur too. You know? You believe that things are gonna continue as it were. You're not gonna be paid back for those things. So now you can speak about it vicariously like it's nothing. No, man, that's gonna be required of you. It says, though a sinner do though a sinner do evil 100 times, see that? His days be prolonged, yet surely I know it shall be well with them that fear the Most High, which fear before him. Yeah, we know Esau don't fear Yahawah. His works show that forth. But it shall not be well with the wicked, see? Neither shall he be shall he, excuse me, I'm a little excited. Neither shall he prolong his days. Yeah, the Lord is speeding up the time. He's getting rid of this damn devil speedily, man. You know? It says, "Neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, here today, gone tomorrow. because he feareth not before the Most High. See? Yeah, eventually you're going to be taken out of power, man. You know? It's just a matter of time. You know? You believe slavery wasn't all bad. Well, guess what? The Lord got slavery prepared for you, man. You know? Matter of fact, let's get this and close it out. You know? Let's go to Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. See? So yeah, you ain't getting away with the spoils. And guess what? Those things you have sown, you're gonna reap, man. You know? So I pray this been edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Qadash. Double honors to our teachers, the apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. So the next time, Shalom.